Hi guys! Thank you for joining me. Today is Wednesday, so we're focusing on Wednesday wisdom. And the topic I wanted to bring up kind of picks up where we left off for our Tuesday talk. We're focusing on our right to abundance. And I think that's something really important to keep in mind when you're going after a large goal. Like for me, I have large fitness goals for the next few years. And I've noticed kind of along the way, as I'm feeding myself these new thoughts and getting used to the idea of what I'm going to be doing, just because I'm excited to do it and just because it's something I want doesn't mean it's always easy to perceive. So sometimes, my brain will be like, that's too big, like things like who do you think you are, and that doesn't sound realistic, and things like that. So when you're moving forward towards a goal, no matter what it is, you're going to have those old thoughts try to keep you down once in a while. And as I said before, this book has been huge. It's been a huge help for me as far as like mental growth and spiritual growth, and it's really helped me believe in myself. So I'm just going to share something with you guys that kind of stuck out to me a little bit, and it's right where I left off before. It says, man's right to life means his right to have the free and unrestricted use of all the things which may be necessary to his fullest mental, spiritual, and physical unfoldment, or in other words, his right to be rich. And I almost feel like, the first programs that I'm putting together, I'm actually just going to be working on one for now. It's a personalized life transformation program focusing on fitness of body, mind, and spirit. Looking back on how I climbed out of, my depression and made a huge goal, and now I'm working towards it. I noticed there's a pattern to how I'm doing things, and I wanted to create a program to help other people do the same thing. And it's very like diverse. It doesn't matter what your goal is. It doesn't have to be fitness like mine is. I'm incorporating physical fitness with mental health and spiritual practices to kind of change your whole mindset about what you're doing, and feel better. So stay tuned for more on that, actually, because I am going to start elaborating more on the programs. I'm going to start getting it out there as we move closer to the new year. I'd like to launch that. So your fullest mental, spiritual, and physical unfoldment. In other words, the right to be rich. So as I said before, this book doesn't really focus on the love of, physical paper money. It's more of, why do we want that security? Why do we want that advancement? Why do we want that option? Like money is just a tool to bring you options. And I think it's healthy to realize that it's perfectly natural and normal to want more in your life. In this book, I shall not speak of riches in a figurative way. To be really rich does not mean to be satisfied or contented with a little. No man ought to be satisfied with a little if he is capable of using and enjoying more. The purpose of nature is the advancement and unfoldment of life, and every man should have all that can contribute to the power, elegance, beauty, and richness of life. To be content with less is sinful. So I think that kind of goes back to that point I made the other day of, there's a difference between being happy and content. I think when people say, you should be content, I feel like that's kind of like, okay, that puts a cap on where you're going. But being happy along the way is very important. If you're always striving for more, but it's making it so that you're never happy along the way, during that process, then I mean, you're supposed to enjoy what you have. You're supposed to be happy with what you have. But as far as advancement and contentment, I think we're always supposed to strive for a fuller expression of ourselves. And that part of the book really helped me, because when I'm changing my thoughts about myself, when I'm changing what I'm expecting of myself, I realize a lot of beliefs that I was raised with, or beliefs that I've just come to develop just, from being in society and, seeing and hearing what we do. They tend to fight this idea, as far as contentment. So I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys. If any of you have a large goal and you have days where you start to doubt yourself, or you have these thoughts where, you're wrong for wanting it, then just keep that in mind, because it is your right to expand your life, as much as you can. I think if we are an extension of universal energy, then we are put here to express ourselves as full as we can. And that takes courage, and that's part of the journey, like to put yourself out there and to do something that you don't necessarily believe is possible for yourself. But it's all about building that relationship, building that relationship with God, like universal energy is the same thing. Like I said a few videos back, I forget which one it was, as you move towards your goal, your reward move towards you. So that's why, this book is all about living in the creative process. That's why there's no such thing as failure. There's no such thing as not obtaining what you're going after if you do it this way. And that's why I'm so motivated, and that's why I'm, kind of just accepting growth and moving as quickly as I can, in that direction, because I realize as long as I don't give up, and as long as I hold, visualize where I'm going, and I hold that thought with faith, then it's going to meet me halfway, like I'm going to work towards it and it's going to move towards me. So I don't know if that helps any of you guys, but today's Wednesday Wisdom, again, is on, your belief in your right to abundance. Hopefully that helps some of you guys with your goals. I know it definitely stuck out to me as far as somebody telling me that it wasn't wrong to feel like I deserved more. And this book is pretty much based on that. I'm actually going to read one more chapter, because it's going to take me forever to get through this book with you guys if I'm only reading like 2 paragraphs. The man who owns all he wants for the living of all life, he is capable of living. The man who owns all he wants for the living of all the life he is capable of living is rich. I have found some typos in this book too, so I don't know if that's one of them. That just sounded funny. And no man who has not plenty of money can have all he wants. Life has advanced so far and become so complex that even the most ordinary man or woman requires a great amount of wealth in order to live in a manner that even approaches completeness. So I think he's basically saying, and this book was written by W.D. Waddles, I believe back in the 1930s. So some of the stuff has definitely changed. I know as I get farther into the book, I've noticed, some things that are just irrelevant now. But even at that time, and compared to all of the things we have now, like back then they didn't have to pay for like cell phones or, Verizon or, I'm sure half of the things, not even everybody had cars back then, so they didn't have those types of things to pay for either. Every person naturally wants to become all that they are capable of becoming. This desire to realize innate possibilities is inherent in human nature. We cannot help wanting to be all that we can be. Success in life is becoming what you want to be. You can become what you want to be only by making use of things. And you can have the free use of things only as you become rich enough to buy them. To understand the science of getting rich is therefore the most essential of all knowledge. So I am actually, part of the reason why I am, and I'll pick up later for Thursday Thoughts after that, part of the reason why I'm documenting this and putting this information out there for you guys is to kind of help remind myself the things that resonate with me. But also to really find out how this works, because a year ago I wasn't thinking this way, and a year ago I wasn't believing half the things I'm believing now. And if I'm applying this to my life and it's going to change my life, I kind of want to have that documented. You know, like I have all my social medias kind of documenting my progress. But I feel like overall, if this works, you know, if I reach my goal in a few years, then that could be awesome to look back on. And hopefully that could inspire so many other people. So I just wanted to read a little bit more of that to you guys. Again, like I said, I'll pick up for Thursday Thoughts tomorrow with that chapter. And if you have a big goal, just remember that you do deserve to complete it. The only way you're not going to get there is if you don't stop trying and if you keep changing your mind. You know, the whole process of this is bringing you the things that you are focusing on. So hopefully that helps some of you guys, you know, as far as believing that you deserve more and believing that you deserve abundance. Don't be afraid to think big and to dream big, but you have to take action on that too and have faith in it. So what I just read to you guys definitely helps me as far as getting rid of any self-doubt, and I hope that helps you guys as well. I'll talk to you later.